Harry, record-breaking day, sold 1.45 million copies day one in U.S., UK, and Canada. A bunch of different things that came out. It's not, again, like I said, it's not like he needs us to promote it anymore. The guy's already on track to being the most selling. By the way, there was a Wall Street Journal video the other day I watched on how these guys make money. $120 million from Netflix. Apparently, he is a chief something of a company, a C-suite executive of a company. He gets $120,000 a year there. They bought their $14 million house in somewhere in Santa Barbara. What is that one place in Santa Barbara? The high-end community, Tom, that Oprah Winfrey lives in. There's an area.
Oh, there's Carpinteria. There's
Montecito.
Yeah. It's now this week, Montecito.
Yeah, that's true. It is Montecito.
Bad.
So, anyways, you want to tell a couple of the stories, Vinny, on what happened here?
Yeah, I read on a New York Post that Prince Harry, he bitterly believed that he was only bred to offer literal spare parts for his brother in case his heir apparent ever needed new organs. And he said, and I quote, 2 years older than me, Willie was the heir, whereas I was the spare. Which is nuts. He goes, I was the shadow, the support, the plan B. I was brought into the world in case something happened to Willie. And he said he understood his role was diversion and distraction from his brother, kidney, blood transfusion, bone marrow. And he also noted King Charles III could never be on the plane with his elder son because there must be no chance of his first and second in line to be thrown to be wiped out.
Yeah.
Bro, can you imagine, realize, I mean, He didn't just randomly come up with it. I can't believe he wrote it. But seeing your brother and going, I was only put here, just God forbid something happens to him.
Know that?
You use me.
Holy. Such an ultimate.
And by the way, the way succession works is as soon as William starts having kids, they're in front of you.
Yes.
So when you talk about spare, you become spare and then spare 3, spare 4, spare 5.
Wow.
Because all of William's kids are in front of Harry.
Well, I don't think that's as crazy as it seems because of this book, because that's just how the monarchy works. 100%. It's your firstborn son since Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Jesus. That's just since the tale as old as time. It's the firstborn son that inherits the throne. That's just kind of how it works. And then it didn't help that as kids, William was this good-looking, blonde, blue-eyed, and then Harry's literally the redheaded stepchild. So it didn't help his cause. But I ironically somehow now that William has kind of lost his hair, he ain't the hot stuff anymore, and all of a sudden Harry's where it's at. But Harry kind of was able to fly under the radar. There's a lot of things that Harry was able to do because he wasn't the heir to the throne. Okay. Yeah. What was that?
Corrupted just posted a comment, $20 super chat. Shout out to you. Poor Harry is the most abused woman in the last 50 years.
That's hilarious.
What's funny was that my question was, is Harry a pimp or is he a simp?
Oh.
Because the whole knock on him is like, how good, and this is a little rated R right here, how good must this girl be, Meghan Markle,
for you
to be like, I'm out of the throne, I'm out of the monarchy, I'm just rolling with my girl now. Her skills must be all right, is what I'm saying.
I don't know if it's just her. I think there's a lot of things that were in this book from the family that was there as well. And he found a girl that he loved, and he's being loyal to her. I respect that. But there's a lot of this goes in here that predates her of just growing up number 2 and everything that went around it, and Kamala and how that relationship happened, him just saying, this is how it happened, this is how I felt.
You said, believe me, I didn't read the book, not even one sentence, but you're saying there's stuff that you relate to because he loves his girl and he's just going to give it all up for her?
I think it's respect. He's defending his wife with respect, but let's isolate it. The defense of his wife is here, and now he's talking about a lot of other things over here, like his dad getting divorced, his mom dying, all the things there. That predated his wife. So there's a pantheon of things in the book that talk about his various chips and insults and the things that he's really resentful of. And then he falls in love, he gets married, and he's like, okay, this is red line, last straw.
You know what Bill Clinton once said? I don't know where I saw this.
Where are my cigars?
No, he said one time where...
where the hose at? No? Was that not it?
Yeah, I'm actually giving a serious
my bad.
issue here. So,
so
one time he said... Tom, guys,
not
stop for a second. Stop. So one time he said... asking a question about his mom. Apparently his mom was bipolar or something like that. And he says, there's literally no benefit for me saying anything about my mom, anything bad about my mom. to me, Rob, your mic. To me, that's social intelligence is what that is. Okay, for somebody to say there's literally nothing beneficial of me, no good comes from me criticizing my mother. You can't even find it. Like,
Wow.
and it's a book. Hypomanic Edge talks about him, and another one called First Rate Madness talks about him, talks about Jackson, talks about Kennedy, and I don't know. I have a very hard time with us recognizing somebody trashing his parents that made him relevant in the first place, in the family you came out of. If you weren't from that family, you would have sold 5 copies of your book on day one. Mm-hmm. The only reason you sold 1.5 million copies is because of your lineage and your family. And to allow a woman to be okay with you trashing that legacy, I have a very hard time with that character of the duo.
Pat,
very, very hard time.
But do you think? And I agree.
fully
I
agree
agree
with that, by the
100%.
way.
But do you think also the resentment that he has, that what they did to him and that he was a spare, even gave him more incentive to be like, you know what, the hell with
Guess
that.
what? Certain things should be motivators that you never tell anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Certain things in life are great motivators you never reveal to anybody. That's the by the way, you could have been born in Compton. Mm-hmm. You could have been born in Liberty City. You could have been born in anywhere else. You happen to be born and you're ungrateful. Like the average human being, whether they like him or not, they have to read that and say, I don't give a shit. Make me a spare. Can I be a spare?
Spare to
Are you kidding? Like,
100%.
what are you talking about, bro? Like, you want me to cry about you being a spare? And because of that, you sold 1.5 million copies of your book? I don't know. I don't, because what we're recognizing and making okay is, hey, you know, why don't you go? Like, you know, the whole Kellyanne Conway family with the daughter.
Yeah.
I'm not a
fan.
Yeah, this is why I never once watched Keeping Up with Kardashians. I've never watched
neither.
any of that stuff. One time, I didn't watch it. I'm not a fan of what this whole story of. I mean, listen, you know who's loving it? Whoever published the book. Who published the book, by the way? Is it Simon and Schuster or Penguin? I'm curious to know who published this book. Whoever published the book and convinced them, and somehow, some way sold them on what to add, the juice to add in there. The editor, the writer, Penguin. Listen, Penguin, you won. Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
Penguin, because Penguin doesn't give a shit. They're like, add more shit, talk more shit, say more shit. Great. Boom. Good for you. I'm good. By the way, don't be surprised if in 40 years their kid writes a book about them and tells the truth about who Megan is. This shit is not a. You don't do that.
And Pat, he even said he got frostbite. Tom, you were talking about this, right? Or he's dangling out of frostbite.
Yeah,
it's too much TMI, bro.
Oh, it was a party life. And when I look back and I say, okay, I can see all these things he says he's offended and resentful and then protecting his wife. I objectively look at that, but then I also step back from it and say, dude, you've lived like the most insane, privileged, party-enabled life with unlimited allowance, courtesy of the British taxpayers. Come on. There's a part of me that says, okay, I can read and I can objectively understand how a person might feel these ways. But then you step back from it and say, dude, do you remember when you partied in Las Vegas and you were like naked for 3 days and all of the American tabloids had you naked for 3 days and it was like no consequence and you were just this party animal? And you could do it because you were number 2. Mm-hmm. If you had been number 1 in line, you couldn't do it. And so, you know, now you're writing a book and you're milking this cow. So, I don't have a lot of sympathy for that, and I'm with you on that point.
Yeah.
I'll say one thing about
to wrap up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well,
last thought here.
Everyone talks about, especially. I mean, we're talking about male, female relations, intersexual dynamics. That we're talking about. We're talking about a husband and a wife here. So a lot of times you hear the term like, "Oh, he's got game. He's got game." We're all that, but there's another term that they use in the manosphere called holding frame, and holding frame would be, I'm a frickin' prince, Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
My family is the monarchy of the UK, of Great Britain and beyond. You could go back and being a C-list actress on Suits or whatever the hell show she was on, or you could be a frickin' princess. Here's the catch, though, baby. You're coming into my world. Mm-hmm. I'm second in line to the throne. We can do whatever we want in this world. But this is part of it. But I feel like there's an element of like this is a representation of the patriarchy, and we're gonna tear this down, and female is the future, that whole thing, and he's succumbed to that rather than holding frame.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.